absolutely picture-perfect summer day, and no better place to spend a beautiful summer day than Belmont Park. Welcome to Insider here on MSG Plus. Maggie Wolfendale, Richard Migliori. Nice day.
It really was. I mean, it did not feel like an East Coast July day. It felt more like a Californian kind of summer day. It was really, really nice and no humidity, nice breeze, which dried out the track. Actually, before the first post, since we did have those early rains, the track went fast, and later on, the turf course was upgraded to good.
Yeah, which I think was the right move, yielding early on up to good, because the times kind of reflected more of a good turf course.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good to see that. Unfortunately, we did lose the fourth race, though.
Well, no humidity here today, but a place that can be pretty hot and humid, Delaware Park. I mean, you spent plenty of days there, I'm sure. Lovely Maria, the Kentucky Oaks winner, showing up tomorrow at Delaware for the Delaware Oaks.
Yeah, Richie, she's morning line, even money. I can foresee her going off shorter than that. I mean, she just has a much better resume than most of these in here. She's won half of her career start. She's only been off the board once, and that was going back to her first try at a stake race over a muddy track. Hopefully we'll see dry conditions down there tomorrow, which I think we will. And her main competition, I mean, looks to be actually her stablemate. That's White Clover, who is 2 for 2 at Delaware, taking down the R-Mim stakes. And really, Lovely Maria, she just looks lovely in the Delaware Oaks.
Yeah, she really does. A couple of questions about it. Do you think having a race over the track at Delaware Park is a help? Is that something you've seen historically?
Yes, I think horses will show an affinity for Delaware. I think that's a really good point. She does have a win already over the surface. That's going back to her first race, and I thought it was interesting. Larry Jones citing that he likes to run a lot of his first-time starters, a lot of his what he projects as talented 2-year-olds, because he likes training them over the surface. His horses, it seems to agree with them. And two, the competition isn't that stiff, so you're not using all their talent up and not having them put in that hard of a race first time out. So I think it helps a lot, to answer your question, to have a race over at Delaware.
Well, and Larry Jones, you brought him up. He seems to have a way with fillies in particular. Do you think that's just something in the way he trains, or just the kind of horses he gets?
That's a great question. I don't know, and I'd love to spend a week in his barn to really see how he trains them and what he might do with the fillies. I think he has a knack for knowing when to press on them and knowing when to kind of hold back on them. I think he's really attuned with his fillies. I mean, obviously, he's trained some champions, to say the least. So I think he does have a kind of special hand with them. Not to mention he gets some pretty well-bred ones and talented.
Yeah, and I like that he put Kerwin Clark, Blue Blue Clark, an older rider, getting his first Grade 1 on Lovely Maria in the Ashland, and then coming back with the biggest victory of his career in the Kentucky Oaks. That's good stuff. But on the rider front, some tough day on the New York riders today. Rajiv Maharaj involved in a spill earlier in the day, and kind of an ugly fall, and he was taken to the hospital. He's moving everything, Maggie. They're waiting on the results of the x-rays and the CAT scan, though.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was his birthday. I feel so bad for Rajiv. It was a really unfortunate incident. Luckily, the horse seems to be okay as well, and we're all waiting on the edge of our seat to find out, hopefully, that Rajiv is okay, and like you said, off of all of his mounts for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and you know, a guy who had a tough injury last fall, I thought really found his form last month, been riding great, so our thoughts and prayers with Rajiv, and hopefully he's okay. But the rider, Irad Ortiz, who picked up Rajiv's mount in the last race, gets unseated a few strides out of the gate, and he was also sent to the hospital for precautionary x-rays of his left wrist, is what I'm being told.
Right, and he got up and walked away from that. It was an incident at the gate. You could see that he was trying his hardest to stay on Uncle Chester, and it actually looks, if you go back and watch the replay, he did put his hand out, and I think actually either he fell on it, but he put his hand out and caught himself on one of the other horses too, so he must have jammed him up pretty good.
It's so hard to, not give in to that instinct to want to either break your fall or put your hand out to brace yourself. Best thing you can do is tuck and roll. It's just, you hope that it's nothing serious. He's riding so well.
I know. He tried so hard to stay on Uncle Chester. I mean, he was off. He tried to swing back on, and then it was just too much commotion in there. So really hoping that both of these guys are A-okay and hopefully at the least, or at the worst, just bruised up.
Yeah, well, if we have any updates during the show or by the end of the show, certainly we'll keep you updated. We got to jump into our live racing program, though. Race 6, 7 furlongs, a really nice allowance race. Here's Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off. Coon is going out to take the lead. Dauphine Rousse on the outside. Tiz Gale rushes up the rail. Tiz Gale now quickly to take over and speed off by 2. Then it's Coon running in second. Mahjong Madness is now third by another 2. Then Dauphine Rousse to the outside of Devilish Love, who is racing 7 lengths off the lead early on. The trailer Token of Love is 10 lengths behind as Tiz Gale has opened up by 5.5 up the backstretch and blazed through a quarter in 21 4. Tiz Gale motoring right along into the far turn, 6 lengths out in front. And then it's Coon running in second by 1.5 lengths. Mahjong Madness, Devilish Love making impact now. And Devilish Love is squeezing through an opening on the inside and now all the way up into second, 4.5 lengths off of Tiz Gale. Then it's Dauphine Rousse and Token of Love, 44 and 3 for a half mile. And Tiz Gale's lead is dwindling. Here comes Devilish Love on the outside to make first run. Mahjong Madness goes with Devilish Love, and Dauphine Rousse is charging through on the inside, and also putting in a run is Token of Love from far behind, and she may be coming the best. Here's Token of Love. Token of Love forging to the front and pulling away. Token of Love and John Velasquez to do it over Dauphine Rousse. Then it was Devilish Love and Mahjong Madness.
Well, real nice late run and a really nice ride from Hall of Fame rider Johnny Velasquez on Token of Love. No excuse for the second place finisher, I don't think. Anyway, the 7, Dauphine Rousse.
No, I thought this was a great performance by Token of Love. Yes, she did get the setup that she needed going back to her last try at 7 furlongs in that Intercontinental. The pace, obviously, today just completely fell apart with Tiz Gale running off on the front end. But Grand Motion had her ready off of that, I don't want to say disappointing effort, but, you know, she just kind of ran evenly throughout that stake race. But a great ride by Johnny V, kind of threading the needle and being there when it counted.
Yeah, third time's the charm for Grand Motion. Third time you're on Token of Love. First time, 1 mile and a 16th, a little keen. Last time, not enough pace. This time, it all fell into place. Good job by them. We got to move on to race number 7, 1 mile and a 16th. High price claimers, $40,000. Here's Larry Colmus.
Read the byline, hopped in the air at the break. It's Prospero who goes out to take the early lead. Prospero to the front. Read the byline now coming through an opening between horses to battle for and now take the lead after jumping at the start. And then it's Barrister Jim who's into second and has the rail. 2 lengths more to Identity Crisis who's fourth early on. And then comes Tismus and Matoris to the outside. Down toward the inside, Finding Candy and Good Time Had by All trails the field. 23 flat the opening quarter mile for Read the byline who leads the way by a length. And then it's Barrister Jim and Prospero heads apart. They're second and third and 2 lengths ahead of Identity Crisis. In fourth, Tismus goes up on the outside fifth. Then Matoris and Finding Candy, who's just 4 lengths off the lead and on the rail. And they're 7 lengths ahead of Good Time Had by All, who's been outrun so far through the first half mile that went along in 46 seconds flat. Into the far turn, Read the byline, in front by a neck. Prospero to the outside, second. Identity Crisis is third. Barrister Jim is on the inside. Matoris is 4 wide. Tismus is right there with Finding Candy behind them. And Good Time Had by All still last, getting just a bit closer. They're coming toward the top of the stretch. Prospero is going to turn for home in front. 3/4 in 111 flat. And Prospero comes off the turn in front by 2 over Identity Crisis. To the outside comes Tismus in third, and Good Time Had by All, who was way out of it early, is moving up on the far outside, and now he is in front. With a sweeping rush to the front, Good Time Had by All, the leader. Finding Candy on the outside, tries to run with him late, though. It is going to be Good Time Had by All. Finding Candy was second, Tismus was third, and then Prospero.
Well, real nice late run by number 7, Good Time Had by All, winning the 7th race in the 7th month, July 7th. He was number 7, and he was 7-1, Maggie.
And he's 7 years old.
Oh, and 7 years old.
He goes 7 wide to win this race. But it would have been icing on the cake if he actually won by 7, or if this was Dave Canizzo's 7th win, but it was actually his 8th win of the meet. He's having a great Belmont Spring Summer meet, but boy, if you believe in the lucky 7s, you were all over Good Time Had by All.
Too bad it wasn't July 7th. It was the 7th month, though, July. So, but
yeah, that was during the dark days.
Everything's coming up 7s. And actually, after today, we only have, 7 racing days left.
Whoa, there you go.
So,
hey, it's a 7 show.
Well, and we'll be right back after several moments with a little more Insider. Nice little perch there for a little birdie to watch some racing. A lot of wildlife here at Belmont Park. Hawk comes up to my office all the time to say hello. One of the best kept secrets in all of Long Island. Beautiful Belmont Park. Come out, have fun in the backyard. And speaking of backyards, you can reserve your table today at Saratoga Racecourse in the backyard picnic area or the all-new Carousel Sports Bar. You can log on to Ticketmaster.com or call 844-NYRA-TIX, T-I-X. And it's good. There are a certain amount of free tables there, but then there's also tables that if you want to reserve and not have to get there too early, Maggie, you can actually reserve.
And also checking out the new Carousel, the kind of sports bar that they're offering there. Having a table in that facility would be great to watch the races, I would have to say. You're kind of in the middle of everything. You can walk out to the apron, you can check out the backyard, but you got a nice central location there.
A lot of changes at Saratoga, but one thing that never changes at Saratoga is it's a great time and a great place to go racing. And we got to get back to racing right here at beautiful Belmont Park. We're going a mile on the Widener Turf Course. Some pretty nice fillies and mares.
They're off. Charm City Girl on the inside, and alongside Pagan Priestess, these two broke well, but farther out, here come Is She Hot and Seeking Her Glory to go on by and set the pace. Fade to Black runs in 5th onto the backstretch, Carrie Bell 6th by 2, then it's Runway Giant, and Previous trails the field. So they're moving up the backstretch, and Is She Hot is a long shot leader here, on top a length and a half to Seeking Her Glory through a 23-2 first quarter. Charm City Girl is 3rd to the inside, then it's Fade to Black 4th alongside of her. Pagan Priestess 5th between horses. Carrie Bell is 6th on the outside, and now 4.5 lengths off the lead and just ahead of Runway Giant. Previous 8 lengths from the pace setters trails the field as they race for the turn, and Is She Hot is in front. Is She Hot runs a half mile in 47 and 3/5 second, and is joined now by Seeking Her Glory on the outside. Fade to Black 3 wide, and Carrie Bell is right up there with a 4 wide sweep up and after them. And Is She Hot's had enough. She's dropped out of it on the inside. Charm City Girl comes off the rail as they come toward the top of the stretch, and outside of her it's Runway Giant. And now they're turning for home, and on the inside Seeking Her Glory. Fade to Black between. Carrie Bell to the outside, and Runway Giant joins them in the center of the course. Carrie Bell is taking the lead. Carrie Bell and Junior Alvarado in front, coming down to the 16th pole. Then it's Runway Giant to the outside, followed by Fade to Black and Charm City Girl. Carrie Bell's going to do it. Carrie Bell to win it by 2 lengths in the end over Runway Giant. Charm City Girl was 3rd, Fade to Black 4th.
Well, we talked about this filly last night on the show, Maggie, and Carrie Bell has been pretty consistent since she's hit the turf, and just another nice performance by this John Sheriff's trainee.
Yeah, she's 3 for 4. She probably needed her start last time. It was going 7/8. She was ready for sure. Looking at her in the paddock, she was almost doing a Zenyatta-esque walk. She was on her toes. She was very lively pre-race, and she looked fit as a flea and just ready to go, because she also got a great setup too, where she just stalked behind that pace and then kicked clear towards the end.
And once again, again, Junior Alvarado contributing a well-timed, very confident ride.
Yeah, he's just riding lights out as of now. Batting around 14%. When he's on the good horses, he's giving them exceptional rides as well, and that's why we see him in the winner's circle.
Well, all a rider can do is give his horses opportunities to win. Let's head on to another turf race, the finale, 1 1/16 on the inner turf.
Tangled beginning there and losing the rider was Uncle Chester. Uncle Chester unseated Irad Ortiz Jr. just after the start of the race here. And it will be Memories of Peter on the inside to go out to lead them early. Gear Jammer is away running in second position as they go to the backstretch. Outside of them, it's Heavenly Sun in third. That loose horse is running up on the outside as they continue their way up the backstretch. And Mackenzie's Boy is now going up into fourth position, followed by Space Oddity to the inside. Hirschbein is after that. To the outside comes Super Psyche. Then it's back to Old Friend, followed by Apollo 11. And Mohican Chief is at the back of the field. And now Irad Ortiz Jr. is up and walking following that incident shortly after the start of the race. 26-4 was the opening quarter mile. Very, very slow here as Memories of Peter leads the way through a half and 51 flat. It is Memories of Peter in front. Gear Jammer is running in second. Super Psyche is third. To the outside of them is Heavenly Sun in fourth. Down toward the inside, Space Oddity follows in fifth and is gaining a bit of ground now and is up into third as they round the far turn. After that comes Mohican Chief, who's 5 lengths off the lead. They make their way to the top of the stretch. Memories of Peter in front from Gear Jammer and Super Psyche on the outside. And these three turn for home together as they come into the final furlong. And coming up the fence is Space Oddity, and Space Oddity's charging through on the inside of Memories of Peter. Space Oddity on the inside of Memories of Peter, who keeps the lead. Memories of Peter and Space Oddity clear from Mohican Chief and Super Psyche. Memories of Peter getting away. Memories of Peter will prevail by 2 over Space Oddity. And then it was Mohican Chief, followed by Hirschbein.
Maggie, Memories of Peter, a colt that's never shown much early speed, was alertly put on the lead by Hall of Fame rider Johnny Velasquez through excruciatingly slow fractions, and proves once again speed is dangerous.
I know, a very astute ride by Johnny. And to be on the rail and just say, okay, let's go, with a horse who's usually, at least 7 lengths out of it at the first call. And he was ready, third off of a layoff. You kind of look, you're like, well, where was the 10 in this? Apollo 11, he should have been out on the lead. Nope, that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, Uncle Chester, he looked as though he might be one with some speed. The incident with Irad at the gate occurred, and, he just walked the dog. To not use that kind of cliche, but he really did.
And when you see a quarter of a mile in 26 seconds, a half in 51, if you've got any horse at all, and you've got that advantage, school is out, and Johnny Velasquez basically took guys to school.
Yeah, he did, as he should. He's a Hall of Famer.
Well, the Hall of Famer for a reason. Well, we got to get on to our last 5 races, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the first 5 of the day.
Back on the inside as they come toward the top of the stretch. And it is Birtstone turning for home in front. Ran a half in 46-2 and has opened up to a 5-length lead coming to the 8th pole. It is all Birtstone here. Sounds of Saratoga is joined by 4 Directions, who has moved up into second now, but is 5 lengths behind Birtstone coming to the 16th pole. And Birtstone and Eric Consell are on their way to a wire-to-wire score. And then it was 4 Directions. They're followed by Sunrise Lover and Fast Runner. And Power Craze moves up the side of Smarvelous at the top of the stretch. Mach 7 is given way. And then comes Mischievously, a 47.5 mile. And Smarvelous digs in on the inside of Power Crazed. And they pass the 8th pole together. Smarvelous pulling away once again. Power Crazed can't go with Smarvelous late. And Smarvelous and Irad Ortiz Jr. are going to win by about 4.5 lengths at the wire. Over Power Crazed. Mischievously was third. Who's circling up on the outside in 5th. Gemma Bell and Nylander at the back of the field. And they're into the stretch. And it's Groovier. Groovier trying to keep the lead here. Mayflowers. And here comes Clara Kelly on the far outside. Mayflowers and Clara Kelly coming after Groovier. Nimblefoot is also in contention between horses. They're coming down to the last 16th. Clara Kelly on the outside, forging to the front. Clara Kelly does it. Over Mayflowers. Nimblefoot got third and Grouvier was fourth. 46 and 4 for a half mile. Turning for home and opening up once again. Bluegrass Chat quickly and suddenly opens up by 5 at the top of the stretch. It is Bluegrass Chat coming to the 8th pole, a 5-length lead. And from the back of the pack, Golden Atiz has rallied from last into second, and in the beat is now third, past the 16th pole. Bluegrass Chat by 3. Golden Atiz cutting into that lead with each and every stride. And here is the wire, and Golden Atiz ran down Bluegrass Chat. In the beat was third, and Political Farce was fourth. 3/2 mile, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. And it is Devil Silent coming down to the 8th pole, but here comes Meaden Khartoum on the outside, cutting into the gap in second. And then behind them comes Winter Wish on the far outside, who's made progress, and then it's Born to be Mild. Meaden Khartoum gets the lead late. Meaden Khartoum will win it. It's a photo, looked like Devil Silent was second over Winter Wish, and then came Born to be Mild.
Meaden Khartoum got up in the shadow of the wire, and it seemed to me a few times on the dirt today, horses were getting that last run. It seemed like horses were home free and then bottoming out.
Yeah, they were in that last 1/8 of a mile, and a very good pick by our man Mike Beer. He had a couple very nice price horses, Good Time Had by All, and Maiden Khartoum on the card today. And you're right, that the whole kind of race card had that, closing kind of flow to it, especially on the dirt.
Yeah, it just seemed like horses were getting a little tired late. But let's go to our second look. So check out Cappy through the binoculars.
This is the one horse who didn't.
Back to the beginning of the card when it looked like Inside Speed might be dominating, but Bert Stone, and what was notable for me is our good friend John Paracella breaking through with a victory here. His horses have been running well, but this was his first victory, and good to see him back in New York.
Yeah, really is. He's such a sweetheart. He always has something nice to say, and he for the race in the paddock, he came up to me, gave me a big hug and kiss, and congratulated me, and that's just the kind of guy he is. He's always nice and very jovial with everybody, so it was good to see him in the winner's circle today.
Yeah, very happy for John and glad to see him back where he belongs, in New York. Irad Ortiz held that 6-win lead over Javier Castellano. Hopefully Irad will be in action tomorrow, and obviously just a talent-studded jockey colony.
Yeah, Javier, Castellano, he's inching up on Irad. You don't want to see Irad, come out of this race. Hopefully he's okay. Like you said, we'll be back tomorrow. But you're right. Moving forward to Saratoga, you even get some flavor from Kentucky in there. But these New York boys, they show them how it's done.
Yeah, they're top-class riders as well as top-class trainers. Chad Brown inched a little closer to Todd Pletcher, but I think the trainer staying's a foregone conclusion. The only thing that we're looking for, if Todd Pletcher can win another 5 before the end of the meet, to have the most for the spring-summer meet. A lot of claims today, Maggie, and I got a lot of astute claims. You had Bluegrass Chat, Golden Atiz, the first 2 finishers out of race 4.
A reclaim by Gary Gullo as well with Golden Atiz.
And what do you think about that, the reclaims? Is that like when a trainer takes horseback, a horse that they know is in good order?
I like that. I really do like that. They have a rapport with the horse. They want him in their barn, and that's always a good sight to see because Gary did very well with Golden Atiz. It's kind of weird. Golden Atiz for Gary was always very speedy, and now, you watch him with that last to first move today. It'll be interesting to see if he puts that speed back into him or if he's just a horse who's kind of changed his running style.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Golden Atiz, and we'll be waiting to come right back right after these messages. Welcome back to Insider here at Belmont Park. People still enjoying that beautiful backyard. And again, I'll say it, best kept secret in all of Long Island, and a place where you can come not only enjoy the outdoors, but exciting thoroughbred racing. Tomorrow on the new NYRA.com, the late pick 4. If you pick the winners in the late pick 4, you actually hit the late pick 4. You get a 10% winners bonus Saturdays at Belmont Park. Only if you bet at NYRA.com, though, Maggie. So if your pick 4 pays $750, you get an extra $75.
That's free money. I mean, go to NYRA.com and play the late pick 4. It's always a fun sequence because you get the best races typically, and you also get a maiden field in there where you can bring in a bomb. And like you said, we are giving you money to play this late pick 4.
All right, and here's one of the main races in that pick 4. Race 9 tomorrow, the Forbidden Apple, $150,000 going a mile on the turf. And we're looking at a very impressive returning winner, Reload, who won earlier in the meet for Shug McGahee.
He is hands down the horse to beat here for me, Richie. And I was actually looking up Shug's stats, coming second off of a layoff and winner first off that layoff. He is batting at 31% with a positive ROI, 17 for 54. Those stats speak loudly for a Hall of Fame trainer.
Absolutely, Reload will be tough to beat, but Grand Arch, he's getting a little class relief from what I see.
I agree with you. I loved this horse last year in the 4-star, Dave. I loved him so much in the paddock. He was a decent price that day. He was very, very wide in that Turf Classic, and I like him getting back to a mile. I think that suits him a lot more than that 1.125 miles down there at Churchill, and really he was only beaten 4 or so lengths in that contest. So as you said, he's getting class relief tomorrow, and I think he'll show it on the track.
And the mile, again, I think that might be the key. And speaking of a horse that ran an extremely good mile here, King Creasa and the runner-up, Vijak, out of the poker. But does King Creasa get to walk the dog again?
I don't know if he does here, Richie. I don't think he'll be able to do that with the presence of Aztec Brave in here for Joe Sharp. He's a little... he got away with a little bit slower fractions here, and we saw Vijak also run very, very well for his first start on the turf. I think he might be a different one on the surface for Belmont.
And what do we do with Wicked Strong, Maggie? He's obviously accomplished in the dirt. We're watching him win the Wood Memorial turf debut.
Yeah, he's actually got some pedigree for it. I mean, he's by the same sire as Reload in a hard spun in here. His dam was a winner on the turf. He's a half to Abbey Street, who's a winner on the turf, I believe, for Barclay Tag. They aren't world beaters by any means, but the fact that Wicked Strong has done so much on the racetrack already, on the main track, I think he's very capable of transferring that. Do you notice that going back to when you rode that horses that are just good and they have a little pedigree, they can move up on the turf?
Yeah, ability always speaks for itself, and Jimmy Jerkins said he worked well on the turf. Let's see what our man Andy Serling has to say.
Thanks a lot. Well, an excellent Saturday card at Belmont. Now, I'm going to look at a race early in the day, a maiden race, the third race. There's no argument the horse to beat is the 6 Bowtie Boss. Bowtie Boss is running out of chances. Has been second in all 4 of his starts. Now, he's lost to some legitimate competition, and on paper, he's supposed to be tough here. But I like a horse outside of him, Vinegar Joe. Linda Rice has exceptional numbers with her second-time starting maidens, especially maiden special weights in dirt sprints. And Vinegar Joe, in my opinion, and Richie and I talked about this horse actually on Trips and Traps, had a bit of a trip in that first start and looks to me like the kind of horse that's going to run a lot better in this race. And most importantly, he's going to be a very, very square price, as he should be. Let's try to get the money in race 3 on Saturday with the 7, Vinegar Joe.
Well, thank you, Andy. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining, and we'll be right back here tomorrow on MSG Plus.